Spotify sucks. Hello everyone, Jex here. I know this is a really weird way to start a video, just like I said in my other video. I think I'm gonna say this every single time now. Oh my goodness. But something new has happened in the modern area. Why do I say area? In the modern era, of course. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of people online complaining about Spotify, especially about how many ads there are now. And honestly, I've noticed the same thing myself. I don't have Spotify Premium, and when I'm listening to music while I play games on my PlayStation, it sometimes feels like I'm hearing more ads than actual music. And at some point, it just gets so annoying that you almost forget you were even listening to music in the first place. So I wanted to talk about this and also look at what other people online are saying, because it turns out I'm definitely not the only one who, feels this way. So let's just first talk about my personal experience, just so you know what I've been experiencing. For example, when I'm gaming and listening to Spotify, I'll sometimes suddenly get hit with the 4 ads in a row type of shit. And these ads aren't just short either. They can be around a minute each. So you're sitting there trying to stay focused on the game, and instead of music, you just get a long block of advertising. Feels really disruptive, especially because music is supposed to help you concentrate or just make the experience more enjoyable. But when you just constantly get interrupted, it actually has the opposite effect. And I've tried to research why Spotify does this. First of all, before I come to this conclusion, to this analyzing part, I'm not a professor in this type of shit. I'm not the best source you can get here. I'm just like, I'm just crying out my experiences and my thoughts. So if you really want to know something about this, you should research it yourself. I've did some research, but maybe I'm also just kind of tripping a little bit. So just if you want to know about this for real, you should maybe just research it on your own. To be fair, Spotify is a free service if you don't pay for premium. So technically, the ads are how they make money from free users. The whole idea is you either pay with money or you pay with your attention. Spotify has even expanded its advertising tools and partnerships to make ads more targeted and more profitable for advertisers, which shows how important ads are for their business model. So from a business perspective, it makes sense, but from a user's perspective, it often feels like the balance is getting worse over time. And I've tried to look at other opinions on Reddit, for example, and if you look at Reddit or other forums, there are tons of posts from people complaining about the same thing. Some users say they now get multiple ads after just 1 or 2 songs, and that it feels much worse than it used to be. Others even describe a pattern where they get 2 ads, then 4 ads, and it just keeps increasing, which makes them feel like Spotify is intentionally trying to annoy free users, so they finally give in and buy premium. If this is really the case, nobody knows, but that's just what I've been reading online. There's also some people who used to have premium and then went back to the free version, and they say the ads feel even more aggressive afterward, and almost like a punishment for canceling the subscription. And there's also some bugs and confusion with ads even on paid plans, because what made things even worse recently is that some premium users reported hearing ads even though they were paying. That was actually caused by a bug, but it still made a lot of people angry because they were paying specifically to avoid ads. And imagine you just paid your plan, you just paid for this fucking premium, and now all of a sudden you just still get the ads. Well, we took that goddamn money, but now you're still getting ads. Fuck you. That's disgusting. Of course it's a bug, but it's still funny as hell. Even if it was just a technical problem, it shows how sensitive people are about this topic. And ads are literally the main reason people buy premium in the first place. So like if that doesn't even work, like like how the hell does that make any sense, you know? So why ads feel more annoying than on other platforms? That's a good question I wrote down, and I found some answers to it. One interesting thing is that Spotify ads feel more intrusive than, for example, ads on YouTube. On YouTube, you expect ads before a video, but on Spotify, you're usually doing something else, studying, gaming, working, and the music is just running in the background, you know? So when ads suddenly interrupt that background music, it breaks your concentration. It's not just an annoyance, it actually affects what you're doing at that moment. And some people online believe that Spotify intentionally makes the free version slightly worse over time to push more people toward premium. On Reddit, one user literally said that the strategy seems to be to annoy you enough that you'll pay for premium. And of course, Spotify would never officially say that, but from a business standpoint, it's actually a pretty common strategy in freemium apps. Like, give people just enough value to keep using the app, but make the free experience uncomfortable enough that paying feels worth it. And Spotify has also been criticized for certain types of ads that were allowed on the platform. For example, there was backlash when government recruitment ads were being played, which led to public criticism and calls for boycotts. I found something about this in the Guardian magazine, newspaper. So the problem isn't just the amount of ads, but also sometimes the content of those ads and whether it fits the platform or not. And yeah, now the question could be, is Spotify still worth using for free? And at this point, the question is pretty interesting, of course, because like some people online say, what the hell was their voice crack? Some people online say they are thinking about switching to the other platforms or just listening to downloaded music instead because the ads are getting too frustrating. At the same time, Spotify is still one of the biggest music platforms in the world, and a lot of people stay simply because all their playlists and music history are already there. That kind of login makes it hard to leave even if you're annoyed, you know? Because if you use this for so long, you're just used to it. You don't want to like break it up. Like you don't want to stop um using it because you were used to using it the whole time. Like it's not convincing enough to switch. Personally, I understand that Spotify needs ads to survive as a company, hosting music paying artists and running service costs money, so I don't expect a completely ad free experience without paying, of course. But I do think there's a point where too many ads stop being just a way to earn money and start actively ruining the user's experience. And lately, it really feels like Spotify is getting closer to that point. And me personally, I'm not really using Spotify that often. I usually use YouTube Music because I have YouTube Premium, and that's why it doesn't really make sense for me to use Spotify. But I listen to Spotify always when I'm gaming because um, the PS5 has an active. Um, I don't know if it's really a partnership, but it is like you can listen to it while gaming. It's like in the background. There's this option for you to use it in the background, and that's pretty nice sometimes if I'm playing maybe 2K or something like that. I always like putting on some music. And something I realized was I tried listening to an album, and I don't know if this is normal. I don't know if you guys maybe experienced the same thing, but I start the playlist, I start the album with the first song, and all of a sudden, this guy continues playing the album from the middle. Like he switches, like after the first song is done, he suddenly switches to the fifth song out of nowhere. Like he doesn't continue with the second song, he just flips the whole fucking, like he switches the whole order up, and I don't even know how the hell that is even possible and why they would do that. Maybe it's also a bug, maybe I'm tripping, but like I'm pretty sure that I've listened to the first song and all of a sudden I just listened to the fifth or sixth song out of nowhere. Like I finished this one song and all of a sudden we start from another angle of the album. That, how does that even make sense? Like I don't know. But yeah, the whole situation with Spotify ads shows a bigger problem that exists on many platforms today: the conflict between free access and user experience. And companies, of course, want to make money, but users want a smooth and enjoyable service. And right now, it feels like Spotify is slowly pushing free users more and more toward premium, not by improving premium, but by making the free version more frustrating. But yeah, that's just my experience and what I've seen from other people online. I'm really, really curious if you've noticed the same thing or if it's just me. But yeah, that's it. Basically, thanks for watching. This has been Jax, and make sure to subscribe and like if you want to know what's next. Goodbye.